Hello. So today we are going to see how to configure the static IP for an Ubuntu system, specifically an Ubuntu Server 22 LTS. And I say specifically for the Ubuntu server because on the Ubuntu desktop it might be a little bit easier because you have in fact the possibility to change the IP from the GUI. In this tutorial we will do it from the command line, as you might have figured out already. So I won't spend too much time on the theory, let's say. I will go straight to how to configure the static IP. And the first thing that you must know and consider is that the method I am about to show is for systems that have Ubuntu 18 and onward. The older versions of Ubuntu, so for instance the 16 or the 14, do not have the Netplan tool pre-installed, and you cannot configure the IP that way. So the first thing that you want to do is obviously log in into your system and acquire the sudo privileges so that you won't have any problems changing and applying configurations on the files that we will work on. So the first thing you want to do at this point is to understand your network, that is which is your gateway, which is the interface you need to work on, and write, or at least memorize the IPs that you have right now. So to do so, with IPA command I just launched, you can see that you should have two interfaces. One is the loopback interface, the other one is the management interface, and you might have more interfaces. For instance, if you have Docker, you will have a Docker interface, or you might have just another, let's say, management interface. So you will eventually see something like MPOS 4, I don't know, 5, etc. Or you might have a different, and in that case what you want to do is, or at least what I suggest you to do, is to have is to work on the first interface that you see right after the loopback interface. Best case scenario, that's the interface you have connected to if you are on SSH, and it's the one that must be updated. Secondary interfaces usually are used for other purposes other than management, so it's very likely that you want to use this one, but again, understand your network and make sure that you want to configure which interface you want to configure, because if you have remote access, let's say only, then if you will apply these changes, you might not be able to connect again to the machine. Let's consider, in my case, the first IP, so 192.168.127/24. That's the IP I am about to change. Next, what you want to know is the gateway your interface is working with. So to do that, you want to write IP route pipe grep default. This will give you the gateway for the interfaces that you have, particularly the IPs that you have, so the 27, the 249. Since they are in the same network and they have no very peculiar configurations, they share the same gateway. So the 192.168.1.254, and memorize this IP as well. Next, what you wanna do is to go in the Netplan default folder, which is placed here in etc Netplan. Here you have, you will have probably just one file, the 00 installer config.yaml file, and as you can see, I have already taken a backup of it, and but if you have just the first file, then I suggest you to take a backup of it so that if anything goes wrong or you want to, let's say, go back to the DHCP, then you can do it easily with just the original file. So copy 00 installer to, let's say, bck2 installer config.yaml, something like that. So now that you have your backup, you might want to take a look at it. So your original file should look something like this, and network ethernets, the name of the interface, the mode in which it is configured, so in DHCP, and then the version of the file of Netplan. This essentially means that it's in your interface is in DHCP mode, and that it's going to take the IP that the DHCP server is giving to it. So we want to go ahead and use whatever editor you are comfortable with and open the configuration file, the original configuration file. So in my case, as I said, I already have it. I already made some configurations. Let's say that I want to change this into 151. And now we have that, mind you, first of all, you have to keep this kind of indexing. If anything is, let's say, not aligned correctly then in the configuration file, then you might have troubles later. And many times it happens that the configuration file isn't, or better, the new configurations aren't applied just because the indexing is not correct. So consider that this is 2 spaces, this is 4 spaces, this is 6, and so on. So multiple of 2's. Compared to the old file, you can see that we pretty much keep the same structure, original structure, which is the network and ethernets, so that you can keep also the name of the interface that you want to configure. Again, if you had a different name for your management interface, then replace this one with the, or you want to change the interface you want to configure, replace this this line with whatever you find suitable. So for instance, it is 0 or I don't know, MPO S4, something like that. In any case, you should already have the right name. You might have another the other interface already configured, so you might have something like this, and then the configurations. For now, I will stick with just one interface and consider, let's say, the simpler case. In any case, after you have the name of your interface set up, write one line right after it. It should be indexed like this, with 2 spaces after the start of the name of the interface, then addresses, and then in the brackets write the IP you have chosen to assign to your machine. In my case, it was 192.168.1/24 subnet. So I could use, let's say the IP is from the .2 to the 2.200 to the dot 253 IPs. I'm not considering the 1 and the 254 because the 254, as you have seen before, has already been assigned to my gateway. Next, right under the addresses, write the routes. This is how Netplan defines the gateway to anything, so to the internet, essentially, to any IP, and then via the gateway you have seen with the IP route command earlier. These name servers are the DNS servers, and they have the same indexing, let's say, of the interface address you have written here, but you can specify multiple of them in the square brackets. In this case, I had configured the DNS servers of Google, so 888 and 4444, but you might want to use other DNS servers. Feel free to check on the internet other available DNS servers and replace these ones with the ones that you prefer. Finally, the DHCP mode must be set to false, otherwise these configurations won't be taken, or at the very least there will be some conflicts in the IP assignation of the interface you're configuring. And the version stays as the one that had been originally configured. After you have done all of this, exit, write your changes, and run a Netplan try. This will both check the configurations you have inputted in your YAML file. If they are correct and do not have any, let's say, errors, then Netplan will already apply them and will start a countdown. After a countdown, if you haven't accepted already, it will try to revert the configurations and use the old IP that the interface had. And after this, consider that the machine will still have the old IP. Otherwise, just press enter and the configurations should have been accepted. Now I do have some warnings. They are mostly related to the permissions of my files, and you might have some too, but again, if you reach this step in which you have no errors and after you press enter the configurations have been accepted, then you can be pretty confident that the IP has been assigned. Now, I did have another IP assigned to my interface. As you might have seen at the start, it was a 27.27, and this is something that sometimes happen with Netplan. It's a leftover, let's say, something that doesn't really conflict, but it's better to get rid of it to prevent any issues in the future. To do so, you can run, first of all, we already know the name of the interface and IP we want to delete, but just to be clean, let's say, and start it all from the start, run IP address show, which is essentially an IPA, and get again the list of interface and IPs you have, identify the interface and the IP you have to work on, and then run this kind of command: delete Then you want IP, the in general, let's say the command is like this. So intuitively, the IP address in my case is 192.168.127, the one that I want to delete. I still have to write down the range of the subnet. It's already written there though, it's that /24, and then the interface name on which the IP has been assigned to. So in this case it's that MPOS3. After you run this command, you can again run IPA, or if you prefer IPL show, and as you can see, only the new IP has been kept. So this is how you configure the static IP for your servers if you need, and I hope that this video has been useful to you. If so, please consider leaving a like and sharing. Cheers!